The final set of Fortnite Syndicate quests are here, and with Fortnite Season 3 around the corner, there is still great uncertainty regarding the future of Fortnite's storyline and what to expect in Season 3. From what we know, the Saboteurs' main goal was to divide the syndicates and cause an inter-syndicate war, granting them the opportunity to seize control of Mega City amidst the ensuing chaos. All this time, we have overlooked the fact that Mega City is far more important than we know, and according to leaked dialogue from Rezztro the Destroyer, even the Last Reality wants to take over Mega City. Yeah, you heard me right. The Last Reality doesn't want to destroy Mega City, they want to conquer it, which changes the way we look at things now. Unfortunately though, in the final set of quests, instead of explaining who the Saboteur is, the quests failed to mention them at all, and we were left with a lot more questions than answers, which sets the stage for our questions of what happened to the Saboteur. Why did the Unseen join the Syndicates? What is the importance of Mega City? Why does the Last Reality want to conquer Mega City? Is the Last Reality still returning? What is happening to the island? And what should we expect in Fortnite Season 3? With that being said, there's a lot to explain and discuss, so sit back, relax, and let's explore the secrets of Mega City. We're beginning with the biggest question on everyone's mind right now. What happened to the Saboteur? Ever since the beginning of the season, the Syndicate quest had mentioned a Saboteur who had ties with the Last Reality, which we later found out was embedded with the Unseen. The Peace Syndicate's goal was to unite the entire city, including the chaotic Syndicate of the Unseen, in order to snuff out the Saboteur. They succeeded in it, in my opinion, too easily, but we still have no idea who the identity of the Saboteur is. We all believed it to be Triarch Nox, but now we don't know for sure and probably won't know until the near future. Regardless, I hope the identity of the Saboteur will be explained next season or sometime in the future. For now, we can only work with our theories, although something seems very off here. Everything worked too smoothly in this operation by the Peace Syndicate. The entire reason they wanted to unite the Syndicate was to find out who the Saboteur was, and they totally disregarded that in the final set of Syndicate quests, which I find odd. Another thing I find odd is that the Unseen seem to hate the Last Reality because of the latest quest since they joined the Peace Syndicate, but yet they still had communication devices to them. Like, what was the point? Which ties into our next question. Why did the Unseen join the Syndicates? It seems everyone united both in a common goal of finding the Saboteur and also because they genuinely despise the Last Reality and want nothing to do with them. In the quests, Highwire is titled the de facto leader of the Unseen, and Rezztro the Destroyer is her right hand. In case some of you don't know, a de facto leader is someone who takes a leadership role in a group without being appointed to it. So the Unseen doesn't really have a leader, but Highwire acts like it and most likely does leader-like things in the Unseen, so she has a larger say than anyone else in the Syndicate does. Nevertheless, the Unseen are still chaotic. Not everyone will listen to Highwire. We know this due to dialogue between us and Highwire in the quests. She seems somewhat surprised, but not really, that someone is making moves behind her back, and she thinks it's Dahlia. Which makes sense considering Dahlia is always talking about a plan to Styx and Triarch Nox about building an empire in the shadows. Not only do the Unseen dislike traitors, they also dislike anyone who is getting in their way of controlling Mega City, especially the Last Reality as seen in dialogue between us and Rezztro the Destroyer. He says the army of the Last Reality can't conquer Mega City, that's my thing, and he warns them by saying they'll pay for this. This shows that the majority of the Unseen aren't too fond of the Last Reality, which is why Highwire gave away all their communications with the Last Reality to the Peace Syndicate. After some thinking, I don't believe that Highwire was aware of these communication devices until she had her talk with Dahlia, which explains why she told us to destroy them. Highwire wasn't communicating with the Last Reality, it was most likely Dahlia, Styx, and Triarch Nox contacting the army of the Last Reality in secret behind Highwire's back. Moreover, what is the importance of Mega City and why does the Last Reality want to conquer Mega City? In the new quest, Eevee sort of told us the importance of Mega City, and that is all the Syndicates. The Syndicates are what makes Mega City, and without them Mega City means and is nothing. When Rezztro mentioned that the Last Reality wants to conquer Mega City, I don't think he meant the actual city, but instead the people. The Last Reality's plan all this time was, according to Thunder, pulling the strings and trying to cause chaos in Mega City, which connects back to what Eevee said in the first set of quests that someone is trying to seize control of Mega City amidst the chaos. TLR probably wants the Syndicates because they are all very powerful together, and perhaps the Last Reality views that as a valuable asset to their army, which does explain why they do not want to destroy them and instead want to take them. However, as we've seen, the Syndicates are in opposition to the Last Reality, so if the Last Reality wanted them, they would probably have to kidnap them similarly like they did to the Seven, torture them, and then make the Syndicates work for TLR. Or maybe the Last Reality didn't want to conquer them at all. Remember when I said the saboteur not being mentioned was suspicious and that the end of the quest was a bit odd? I believe the reason why the saboteur was not mentioned was because they went off the grid before they could be found. The saboteur was probably tasked by the last reality to obviously sabotage the syndicates, but also cause fear-mongering in Mega City that the last reality is coming. While the syndicates were in panic, all this time Serenade was building the monoliths on the island to do whatever she is doing. It could be to resurrect the Herald, or perhaps she is one of the reasons the island is falling apart, which I will touch on more in a bit. Although the plan somewhat backfired on TLR because instead of the syndicates still being in chaos, they instead united in the common goal of opposing the last reality. And while we are on the subject of the last reality, let's quickly discuss whether they're still returning. Considering the saboteur most likely established the communication devices with the last reality, they probably gave away the location of the island to the last reality as well. Because if any of you remember, after the island blew up into a bunch of little Lego pieces, the 0 point teleported away and relocated itself so the last reality wouldn't be able to get reality 0 as easily. Although now that someone has worked with the last reality and was confirmed that they spoke to them, the last reality is most likely beginning to make their way towards reality 0, but at the moment there is no definitive answer as to when they will arrive. And if Serenade is also a part of the last reality, as many of us have theorized, she probably gave the coordinates of the island to TLR if the saboteur already hadn't. I suspect the last reality will maybe return around the end of chapter 4, so this fall, or we may have to wait till chapter 5. Having said that, let's get to our second to last question. What is happening to the island? In my last video, I mentioned that at the end of the Oathbound quest, Stellan warned us of the consequences of opening the Rift Gate, that being the island rendering in two, which we are seeing now firsthand. If you go speak to Mystica right now, she says the island trembles, perhaps from Mega City's impact. We must learn more. At the moment, Mystica believes that the faults on the island are from Mega City's impact of landing on the island, which backs up Stellan's claim of the island splitting in two when the Rift Gate is opened. I do agree with Mystica because she is an intelligent scientist and Stellan is a brilliant alchemist, so if they both say it's the most likely reason, they're probably right. Going back to what I was previously saying a few minutes ago, I do think that the bone marrow monoliths around the island have somewhat contributed to these faults. No one in the story has spoken about Serenade or mentioned the monoliths at all, which I find very peculiar. The monoliths are not hidden and cannot be missed, so I wonder if Serenade has been hypnotizing anyone who had gotten just a little interested in those monoliths and done something with them. Which is why no one has said anything about the monoliths, because the people who do get to see them get hypnotized by Serenade and go missing. But then again, wouldn't people start noticing that other people have gone missing and start taking action about it? Or maybe because the faults are becoming such a big issue that no one has time to focus on these monoliths and Serenade. And although I did say that the last reality's plan backfired on them because the syndicates were united, even though they are united, they are focusing on possibly the wrong thing, so in reality, the last reality had a plan B for all of this, and that was Serenade. I hope that makes sense. Aside from that, vines are emerging from these faults, and that leads us to our final question. What should we expect in Fortnite Season 3? After the Mega Biome collided with the island, I believe it may have somewhat bothered the 0 point, and the 0 point could have rifted in a jungle underneath the island, or is growing one to continue to protect itself from any outside threats, or it's possible that the vines that are growing from the faults are due to the monoliths and Serenade's doing. Nevertheless, there is a possibility that there will be a live event at the start of the season because leakers have found some things possibly suggesting so, but I'm not too sure, so don't get your hopes up. Next season, we're also supposed to get a desert, and the Sand Sloan skin has been in the works for a while, so I believe Dr. Sloan may be returning next season, and this is our Dr. Sloan that we supposedly saw die. Unless this is an alternate reality Dr. Sloan, because we know this can't be a past version of Dr. Sloan, since in her loading screen we saw she had a normal life growing up, excluding that she's a prodigy. I also think we'll get more information on the Herald and her return, and I believe this survey skin may also show up too, who I believe to be the Earth King or an Earth Elemental, which would be a great way to reintroduce the elementals into the storyline. The cracks are also starting to create a circle around the middle of the island, so I believe that is where the desert and jungle biome will emerge next season. What do you guys think? Although we do still have two major questions that were left unanswered as well. Who are the Triarchy and where are the Oathbound? I'll be talking about that in my next video, so consider subscribing if you enjoy Fortnite storyline videos, and please think about using my code Rezztro in the item shop. It means a lot. Thank you all for watching, and see you guys in the next one. Take care.